right, here with Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. Don't forget the Wooden.
Okay.
Well, first, coming in here with the Phillies hat. Love that rockin' Phillies pride. How's it feel to be in the city of brotherly love?
It feels really good. I'm actually already starting to feel the love here. I just like the vibe. Like, it's very much so, like, you could tell it's a big city, but it also feels very homey and small at the same time. And I'm a small town country girl, so I always have a love for that.
So being small town country girl, like you said, you've been, whether it's living it all over the place, coastal Carolina, you go all over the place with track and field. What space would you say had you one that felt most like home, and then one where you're like, I am out of my element. This is too crazy for me.
The place that feels most like home, actually. Crazy enough now, I feel like the place that feels most like home or that I've competed is probably Eugene. And I feel like it feels like home because, at home, you have good days, you have bad days. And I've experienced almost all the fields you could feel at Hayward Field. So I feel like definitely that would be the place I would call my home away from home. And then as far as a place that is like, no, I have no business going there ever again, I would have to say there was a small little town in Hungary, like outside of Budapest. It was cool, but I was like, I don't know. Maybe not again.
Not for you. So you're coming into this third slam, two-time champion. It's hard to beat a lot of the same people, not only one time, not only two times, but a third time. So, coming into this, knowing that you've got the target on your back, it's as big as ever. How does that feel where, you're the person that everyone's looking to come after this week?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I actually still don't feel like there's a target on my back because I feel like everyone else is so focused on what my other competitors are going to do. And so I feel like that allows me to go out there and do what I want to do. Obviously, the last slam, it came down to a point difference between first, second, and third place. And so, the storyline is there. Like, oh, well, how many points will separate this time? Or how much hundredth of a second or a thousandth of a second is going to separate first from second place? And, I feel like the thing that has benefited me the most is me staying in my element, in my zone, and telling myself the things that I need to hear in order to go out there to do what I need to do. Like, obviously, there's going to be talks about who can do this, who can do that. Obviously, like the 200 being first, people feel like I might be at a disadvantage. But, at the end of the day, it's all of us have to go, line up and run the 200 first. It's not just a thing to where, or like maybe let's favor the 200 meter runners first this time because the 100's been. I was like, no, this is a part of the game, and I'm ready for whatever comes this weekend.
How do you feel, compared to last year? Because I feel this season you're racing more, doing more doubles because of the way that the Grand Slam is compared to what it was last season. Did the training change at all from last year compared to this year with how this year's scheduled?
I feel like the training obviously didn't change that much. We may have did like higher volume stuff a little later, but outside of that, I feel like the biggest difference for me is that I've had the opportunity to have a full and healthy fall. Last fall, I missed about 2 months. And so when it came time for me to start racing again, it was really just like, okay, you have to trick your mind into telling yourself that you're ready to go. And so a lot of the races, like, I would be in there in the beginning, but don't have the tail end. And so now it's like having that fall training and that base and, just that conditioning and strength that I've missed the last year, it's really just good to see it all come together. Like, okay, this is what a healthy Melissa looks like. This is what she can do. So, yeah.
So just a couple days ago, I rewatched Sprint. And I came back down to that last episode where they're filming, it's you, TT, Sha'Carri, right before you're going onto the track, and just kind of the love and the closeness that you guys are. Could you kind of take us back to what that was, as you're getting ready for what is, the biggest race of your guys' career, and getting ready to line up?
Yeah, so in Paris, it was definitely one of those things, like we knew we had the opportunity to go out there and sweep the Olympic final. And I feel like, honestly, we all train together. We all have a love and respect for one another. And at the end of the day, it was about what do we need to do personally to get us to that point. And I feel like for us having the opportunity to be able to go out there and sweep and come away with 2 of the 3 medals, I feel like it's a really good job on not only what we're capable of as athletes, but our coach as well. And then him just believing in us and instilling in us that, hey, you can do this. TT obviously had a slow start to the year, dealing with injuries and things like that, but she was able to pull it together when it mattered the most. And so for her to not only make the team, but make that final and place fifth, that's something that it's harder than what it looks like, basically. And then just having not only 3 Americans in the final, that hasn't happened in I don't know how many years, in the 100. And so just building off of that and having that type of momentum going into this year, I feel like is really what's like changing the trajectory of like what we're trying to do.
Talking about trajectory, I mean, just a couple of years ago, you're a freshman, sophomore at Coastal Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I went on a recruiting trip back when I was a junior in high school, and there's not a whole lot outside of a beautiful looking campus.
Yeah.
So you go from running at Coastal to now you're one of the biggest names in track and field,
Mm-hmm.
almost overnight from how you did it at NCAAs.
Yeah.
How has that transition been of where I'm sure it may not be as easy to just walk around, low profile
Mm-hmm.
compared to what it is today versus just a few years ago?
Yeah, so I will say, really just walking around all freely and stuff is I really only can't do that when I go back home to South Carolina. But in Florida, I pretty much go on about my life as if it's normal. Not a lot of people recognize me and things, and it's like the people that do recognize me, I hold it very near and dear to my heart just because of, I am in a position where, I'm still trying to gain a lot of followers and fans, but, for the ones who already know me, it means so much to me because I still see myself as this small town girl who went to this small town school, and just for my life to change the way it did in the past 3 years has been amazing. So, but yeah, I mean, I love it in Florida. I could just be Melissa.
And then so this will be a big year of the last World Championships this year, none next year. They have the ultimate challenge, I guess. We'll see what that kind of looks like.
Yeah.
But what is the kind of preparation and goals for you as you're going into it? Julian Alfred, the Olympic champion, teammate Sha'Carri, coming in second there. What's going to take for you to be able to go up against some of the baddest women in the sport has ever seen, to solidify yourself in greatness?
Yeah, I think really gearing towards World Championships this year and getting ready and trying to solidify a spot on the podium. I feel like it's just going to boil down to Melissa being Melissa. I not only made the team, but placed or medaled at the Olympics last year off of missing 2 months of training. And so this year, my whole thing has just been, okay, what is Melissa's ceiling now? Now that she's healthy, now that her ducks are in a row, her mind is in the right place and focused on the right things. What happens when she listens to her coach and not try to do her own thing? The sky is the limit for me, and I want to go out there and win the whole thing. Like, my plan is to be the Tokyo World Champion in the 100. And if I lock in on this 200 a little bit, I might make a team. Just might. And if I might make a team, I mean, at that point, you might as well just go medal again.
Why not?
You're right.
And then last one, take it off the track. You mentioned you put out a tweet just a few days ago about getting your PC and going to start streaming. Do you have any games that you have in mind? What's that going to look like? What's the schedule going to be? How's it going to be?
Yeah, so I've actually been constantly playing the game now for about a year, and for a year, my husband has been telling me, like, you need to start streaming, like, give the people something else to look at, like, give them an insight into what you do off the track. So I finally put my big girl pants on and went and paid a lot of money and got a PC. So I will start to stream. I will be streaming before the end of the month of June. Okay, that's the plan. If I'm not, somebody smack me, okay? Because I have too much time on my hands when I'm not at practice. Well, I won't say too much time, but enough time that I should be able to set this up and get it going. So stay tuned. So I'll be playing Call of Duty.
There we go. If it's not up by next slam, we'll let you know.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.